We've had a terrible accident here. Hendri just got taken by a crocodile.
Damn it. Oh, Hendri.
I needed to walk through a minefield to feel protected. These were the words of Hendri Coetzee, one of the world's most legendary extreme kayakers. But they weren't just poetic metaphor. They revealed the dark psychology that would ultimately lead to his death in the most horrific way imaginable. Hendri wasn't just another adrenaline junkie. He was a man whose brain was literally wired differently. Research shows that extreme athletes like Hendri have reduced cortical thickness in areas responsible for decision-making and impulse control. Where most people would flee from danger, Hendri's neurochemical makeup craved it. For Hendri, danger wasn't something to avoid. It was his drug.
I would put Hendri up there not only with the greatest kayakers of all time, but the greatest explorers of all time.
Every life-threatening situation triggered a cascade of dopamine and endorphins that made him feel truly alive. He had more experience paddling among Africa's dangerous wildlife than almost anyone on Earth. But this expertise would become both his greatest asset and his fatal weakness. By 2010, after decades of death-defying expeditions, something had changed. Hendri was considering settling down, maybe even leaving the extreme kayaking world behind. But then, an email arrived that would seal his fate. Ben Stookesberry, a fellow extreme kayaker, was proposing what would become known as the most dangerous kayaking expedition ever attempted. The mission: to explore and document the uncharted rapids of the Congo River system in the Democratic Republic of Congo, a region so remote and perilous that even seasoned adventurers considered it nearly suicidal. This wasn't just any river system. The Congo had been transformed into something far more sinister than nature ever intended. Decades of brutal civil war from 1995 to 2006 had fundamentally altered the ecosystem in ways that would prove deadly. During the Congo Wars, widespread violence and institutional collapse had created an unprecedented situation. Bodies frequently ended up in the waterways. Refugees camped along riverbanks. The local crocodile populations had become accustomed to something that should never be part of their diet: human flesh. The team knew they were entering what they called the supermarket, a feeding ground where massive Nile crocodiles had been habituated to humans as prey.
We were much more likely to see a crocodile in a very, very flat river with no current.
Statistical data from the region was horrifying. Between 2015 and 2024, the Democratic Republic of Congo recorded 96 crocodile attacks with 66 fatalities, a 69% death rate. But for Hendri, this wasn't a deterrent. It was exactly what he'd been looking for his entire life. One last expedition, he told himself. One final dance with death before walking away forever. He had no idea how prophetic those words would be. December 2010. 3 men launched their kayaks into the Congo River. Hendri Coetzee, Ben Stookesberry, and Korbulic. They were filming everything, documenting what they believed would be the greatest kayaking expedition ever captured on camera. The environment around them was unlike anywhere else on Earth. This wasn't just about navigating rapids. They were paddling through an ecosystem where apex predators had learned to see humans as food. Every bend in the river could hide a crocodile that had grown fat on human remains during the wars. The team followed strict safety protocols. They stayed close together, never more than 5 feet apart when possible.
That calm, flat water is definitely more terrifying than any of the whitewater.
They remained constantly vigilant, knowing that in these waters, a single moment of inattention could be fatal. But even the most careful preparation couldn't account for what was waiting for them. On December 7th, everything changed. The 3 men were paddling in their standard formation. Hendri and Chris just 5 feet apart, Ben slightly ahead. The river seemed calm. They'd navigated hundreds of similar sections over the years. Then, without warning, the water exploded. Korbulic would later describe what happened. I heard this massive splash behind me. I turned around, and Hendri was just gone. His kayak was floating empty, spinning in the current. A crocodile estimated at over 15 feet long had struck with the precision of a guided missile. It had grabbed Hendri from below and disappeared beneath the surface in seconds. No scream, no struggle visible from above. Just the terrible silence of the river closing over where their friend had been. Ben and Chris frantically searched the water, calling Hendri's name, hoping against hope that he would surface. But the river revealed nothing. The crocodile had taken him to the depths, and in waters like these, no human could survive what came next. Research shows that victims attacked by crocodiles of this size have less than a 5% survival chance. The death roll, the crushing bite force of over 3,000 pounds per square inch. The drowning. It would have been over quickly, but not quickly enough. The two survivors faced an impossible choice. Risk their own lives in a futile search, or accept the horrific reality that their friend was gone forever. They made the only rational decision they could. They paddled downstream to find help, carrying the weight of witnessing something no human should ever see. When the rescue teams arrived, there was nothing left to find. Hendri Coetzee's body was never recovered. The man who had dedicated his life to conquering the world's most dangerous waters had been claimed by the very element that defined him. The footage from that day would later become part of viral documentaries, raising profound questions about filming death and the ethics of documenting extreme risk-taking. But for those who knew Hendri, the cameras captured something else entirely. The final chapter of a man who could only feel truly alive when death was breathing down his neck. Ben Stookesberry and Chris Korbulic survived, but they carried with them the psychological scars of survivors' guilt, forever haunted by those final moments when they were powerless to save their friend. Hendri Coetzee passed away as he lived, pushing the absolute limits of what was possible, driven by a psychology that made ordinary existence unbearable. His tragic end serves as a stark reminder that in the pursuit of feeling truly alive, sometimes the price we pay is life itself. The Congo River flows on, indifferent to human ambition, carrying its ancient secrets and its newest ghosts downstream into the darkness. This tragedy raises a profound question that goes beyond extreme sports. What drives some people to seek danger when others seek safety? Is there a line between living life to the fullest and recklessly endangering yourself? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Hendri's pursuit of extreme experiences was inspiring or tragic? And if you were faced with the opportunity for one final adventure that could change everything, would you take it?